It is Monday. It is 4 o'clock, and the Joe Benigno Football Monday call-in is brought to you by Total Orthopedics, the experts at getting you back to being you, and by Audi Manhattan, where luxury meets excellence, and powered by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Joe, what's up, man?
Before we go anywhere, let me just, again, apologize to Tiki for last week. I was over the top. There's no doubt.
Joe, you don't got to apologize to me, bro.
No. Just
I got nothing but love for you, brother. You know that.
I hope so. We go back a long way, 20 years at least. We had the same agent, the great Mark Lepselter. Of course, I bought the silverware at his house. You bought the pool. But, little different. But just want to let you know, bro. I got great respect. You know how I feel about you as a man. You know how I feel about you as a player.
No doubt.
I've told you a million times, the greatest of all giant running backs.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
I've said that for many years. So
Joe, you know me well enough to know I get over stuff really quickly.
I'm happy to hear it. I got to tell you, I felt pretty bad about it all week. So I'll let you know.
Wait till you hear him defend the officials from last night. Wait till you get on that.
Stop it, Teak. You can't be doing that.
But I watched it.
No, I know you did. I'm sure you did.
I'm just
I felt, Joe, last night I went to bed, and there's a lot of reasons to be pissed off about losing this game, a lot of people to blame and decisions and all that. It was one of those rare times I went to bed so pissed off at the officiating because I think they screwed up in such a major way and took away an opportunity for the Jets to get a signature victory.
But that wasn't your big takeaway, was it? Was it the same?
There was a lot of – first of all, look, the call – the one big call – there was a bunch of calls. The big call on Michael Carter at the end of the game. I mean, you can't – actually, it was on Sauce.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you can't throw that flag there. Mm-hmm. And he didn't throw the flag till after Carter got the interception. So – but, okay, be that as it may, look, the bottom line is you can't get yourself, number one, in a 17-0 hole. I mean, the defense immediately puts you behind the eight ball in this game. They made too many mistakes in this football game, dropped passes. We saw Mosley. I know he did get an interception late in this first half, but he dropped another pick. They had a couple opportunities. Jordan White had an opportunity for a pick that he didn't come up with. They dropped some big passes. Michael Carter dropped a pass. Mm-hmm. I thought Conklin could have caught that ball. And when Zach made a great play to get away from the press, I couldn't believe he didn't get sacked there. He gets out, got the ball in the end zone. The ball hit Conklin in the hands. It was a tough catch, but he didn't come up with it. And I thought one of the biggest plays in this game, okay, is the penalty on McGovern for, a legal man downfield. Boy, they were driving at that point. I think it was 2020. He hit Uzama for a big first down. That was a killer penalty in this game. Obviously, the fumble by Zach, which marred a tremendous performance by him. To me, the officiating, I think we certainly got hosed. The non-intentional grounding call on Mahomes. I even thought the first play of the game, when Jermaine Johnson got called for unsportsmanlike, it wasn't him. No. The other guy basically threw a punch at him, and then Johnson got caught retaliating. So the officiating left a lot to be desired in this game, but the Jets just made too many mistakes, and that cost them the game. It really did.
Joe, let's start with the basics because so many people killed Zach for the last 3 weeks, and it was justifiable. Look, it was justifiable. I kind of contended that he wasn't prepared to be the guy. He had to become the guy really quick. Nate Hackett was trying to recraft this offense to make it comfortable for him. It finally happened. Your feelings on Zach going forward?
Well, if he's going to play anywhere near like he did yesterday, you got to feel a lot better. I mean, he looked like a professional quarterback in this game. I think another thing that's happening, too, the play calling is better. By the way, I've had enough of Dalvin Cook. I don't want to see – Breece Hall has got to get more than 6 carries in the game. He almost broke that one. I thought he made a bad cutback, Teak. Yep. I thought he cut back right into the defender.
You're right.
I really did.
We talked about it earlier, Joe. He should have split the lineman as opposed to cutting back behind Tippmann.
Right, yeah. But I got to see him get more than 6 carries. I've had enough of Dalvin Cook. Let me see Michael Carter. Let me see the kid, Anaconda. Please, okay? But I think the offensive line is starting to come around. I really do. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, Teak. I said this to you. Becton on the left side, Vera-Tucker on the right, Tippmann playing guard, and that's exactly what they're doing. And the offensive line, I think, is starting to round into shape now, certainly with the pass block.
The concern I have about Zach, Joe, is while those 4 drives in the middle of the game, especially the one coming out of the second half was tremendous. Maybe the best drive of his NFL career. I can't get the bad taste out of my mouth over the final 3 drives of this game because this was a tie game. Twice he had the ball in his hands, and drives went nowhere, including after that big run by Breece Hall. And you're right, the penalty on McGovern was a killer. And then, only his fault, the drop snap. And losing his eye on that.
Like I said, that marred the entire performance. What happened there, it looked like to me, he pulled away too soon. I think he saw the pressure coming up, and he pulled away too soon. You know, look, it was unfortunate he fumbled. But the only thing I'll say, one other thing too, you know, you can't, right before halftime, 4th and 1, it's 20-12. Please go for the first down. I don't want to see Zerline kicking a 52-yard field goal there. I know he can make it. Unfortunately, he doesn't make this one. Get the first down. Give me a quarterback sneak. Do what the Eagles do, where they bunch that formation in and they push. Right. Can I see that? Why aren't we doing that?
Well,
honestly, I think the reason that most teams don't do it is because the quarterbacks don't have the mentality to do it. You know what I mean?
That's what it is?
Well, I mean, so I watched Jalen Hurts a lot in college.
He does it all the time.
He does it. Well, he did.
It works.
He was a great runner in college. Like, you forget before he went to Oklahoma, all he could do was really throw the ball. I mean, run the football.
And
so he has a mentality to be a runner. I don't know if Zach is going to – you know you're going to get hit. Somebody's going to come in there head first and knock you the hell out. At least try to. I don't know if Zach is right for that. So I get why they didn't do it. Now, that being said,
you still got to go for it because
because
Saleh even said after the game, like, Joe, his answer after the game to me was lame. He's like, well, we're going to have to kick a field goal anyway.
It was bad.
Well, kick a field goal anyway. How about something that's not a 52-yarder? Like, as good as Zerline's been, he's not going to make every field goal from 50-plus yards.
Yeah. No, I thought that they definitely should have went for it there on 4th down. And there was another play earlier in the game when they was 3rd and 1, and he threw a pass.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Give the ball to Breece. Don't be chucking the ball here.
Yeah, well, you can call a pass, but just make it out of his hands to the running back really quickly. That's what I would do. I'm serious. Like, you want to keep him off balance, just make the throw easy. Overall feel, Joe. Right, because look, they're 1-3.
Yeah, they
right
lost.
now.
They're 1-3. They lost the game. I mean, let's be honest.
But hold on, everybody kind of came into this game saying they're going to be 1-3, so they're 1-3. But do you feel better about a 1-3, or kind of like where are we going at 1-3?
Well,
it's different. I actually feel better about them.
But Teak, here's you got to understand something, okay? They lost. I'm sick of you know how many times over the last 60 years that I've been following this team that they've lost these kind of games, these close games. They make a ton of mistakes that eventually kill them. Like I said, Michael Carter had a huge drop in this game where he had a lot of room to run. Mosley had a pick earlier in the game. He didn't come up with it. I mean, they fumbled by Zach. And even with the penalties aside, these are the kind of things, the plays they don't make and they don't win. I mean, and Zach missed, even though they got a touchdown in that drive, you also missed Garrett Wilson wide open down his sideline. He threw the ball with not enough air on it. There was another one, too, over the middle. He threw it behind Wilson. Those were really the only two, I thought, bad passes that he made in the game. But, look, they've lost. I've said this a million times. They lost 6 in a row last year. They've lost 3 in a row now. They've actually lost 9 of their last 10 games when you go back to last year. The coaches now, as much as as a man, I love the guy. He's 12-26 now. They got to start winning some games, Teak. They have to.
That's why these moral victories, like, they don't exist in my mind. No. I don't think they exist in Joe's mind. Like, they lost. Yeah, was the game closer than we thought? Sure. Was Zach Wilson better than we thought? Sure. They lost. And I don't know how you feel, bro. I don't feel necessarily like, oh, Zach's figured it out.
No.
Like, he played well. I give him credit, but I don't look at Denver and say, well, now it's clicked. Aaron Rodgers came back. They had a good conference. Right. It's all going to click for Zach Wilson. I expected at halftime we're going to be screaming and yelling about the quarterback next week.
Well, one other thing, too. The defense on 3rd and 20 cannot let Patrick Mahomes run up the middle for 30 yards. Now, I know they also had that. Mosley had a penalty on that, too. And the other one with the penalty on Sauce was, 3rd and 20. I mean, these things can't happen. I mean, you just can't let that happen. Even the last play of the game, when it's 3rd and 6, okay, stop them there. Let them kick the field goal, and at least you're getting the ball back with a shot with 1:50 or whatever it would be. They had no timeouts left. But at least, you got a shot there. Stop them there. Don't let them get the easy. By the way, anybody who laid the points with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. They had to be swearing at Mahomes. What are you
Thanks,
doing?
Well, you deserved it, Sean.
Loogie, you laid the point.
That was Sean.
That was Sean. Sean did it.
You did?
Yes, I did. And live, Joe. I double dipped. It was nice.
Oh, my
Yeah, it was nice, all right.
Well, that's painful for you, bro.
But you're 100% right. Like, we forget about that play. If they stop Mahomes, who again runs for a first down, and I thought Mahomes was better with his legs than he was with his arm yesterday.
Yeah. Well, he should have thrown 4 picks in the game, bro.
100%. They get the ball back, sir. It's down 6. Like, I don't feel great about it because they're going to kick a field goal. But you have a minute 30 to go.
Right, you got a shot. Right.
You're right.
You got a shot.
And who knows? Maybe Zach is the ultimate hero. Maybe we're sitting here today saying, because I'll tell you this, if Zach leads him on a touchdown drive in the final minute and a half down 6, I'd probably come in here thinking, all right, he's figured it out.
Well, I can tell you, with 7 minutes and 30 seconds at that fumble, you're thinking, well, maybe he's got 2 more possessions. Right?
They didn't get the ball.
They didn't touch it again. That was the last offensive play, which is frustrating, which is why I've been saying all day, Joe, this is a collective loss. I know people want to look at Zach and but I mean, 14 play and then a 15 play drive to end the game defensively. Get off the field.
They got to play better defensively, Teague. Look, they did. Look, they got after Mahomes pretty good. I thought the pass rush was pretty decent in this game. They picked them off, no doubt about it. But they got torched running the ball. They gave up. I know Mahomes rushed for about 60 yards, but they rushed for over 200 yards in this game. They get Kansas City. They get burned early by that run by Pacheco. I mean, you can't do it. Like I said, you can't put yourself in a 17-0 hole and then try to dig out. Even though they came back to tie the game. Especially against the defending world champions,
They have now been outscored 30-0 in first quarters of games this season.
Is that what it is?
How much of that is on this head coach having this team ready to play? Because this defense did not look ready to play coming out of the gate.
No, hey, look,
30-0.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I realized it was
they do. They 3-0 to the Patriots, 7-0 to the Cowboys, 3-0 to Buffalo, 17-0 yesterday. So obviously the 17 added a lot to it, but they have not scored a first quarter point. Think about that.
Hey, look, I said it. Look, you know how I feel about the coach, okay? I mean, I like him as a man. He's been so nice to me. I can't. It's above and beyond. But the record is what it is. He's 12-26. I mean, you got to start winning some football games here. And, there's no moral. This is not Alabama playing UConn in football. You know what I mean? There's no moral victory here. So, look. You got to go to me, bro. They need to win both of these next 2 games. I mean, look, thank God Denver came back to win. The last thing I wanted to see was the Jets going to Denver with Denver not winning a game. Because I'll tell you right now, as it is, I'm nervous about this game, but that would have made it even worse. And I understand the Eagles are good. I mean, look, and by the way, can Ron Rivera go for 2 to win the game?
I know.
Yeah. You got to go for 2.
Riverboat Ron my ass.
Yeah,
Come on.
You got to know your opponent. You got to know that the Eagles, given a chance, are going to go score.
Right. No question. You had to go for 2 there at the end of the game. And by the way, how about Eberflus eschewing a 30-yard field goal to go for 4th and 1?
Joe, I was on that game. I called that game.
Okay, I didn't
know
that.
And so here's the thing. I didn't mind going forward on 4th down, but the play call was horrendous.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. What was it?
He basically ran a dive up the B gap. And
really?
The linebacker was unblocked, and he got stoned. But Justin Fields is your quarterback. It's not like it's not Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Put the ball in Justin Fields' hands and let him go be an athlete. So I hated the call by Luke Getsy, who was the offensive coordinator. But I didn't hate the decision in real time, but I hated the play call.
Well, I'm happy they did it because, like I said, I'm glad Denver won.
That's right.
And look, but they got to win these next 2 games. Look, I know the Eagles are what they are. I understand they're 4-0. They're one of the elite teams in the league. There's no question. But the Jets have never beaten them. I don't know if you know that, Teak. They're 0-12 lifetime.
I did not know that.
They have never beat them. That's the only team in the NFL they've never beat. It's time to beat this team. And they got basically 2 years ago when they played them, they peed all over the Jets.
Yes,
so, I mean.
Well, Joe,
the Giants know full well about that.
Joe, I'm on that call next week, so I'll be sure to use that one. They urinated all over them.
Are you doing the Jet Philly game?
I'm doing no. I'm doing the Jet Bronco game.
The Bronco game.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Look at that. Did you text the coach after this game last night?
I did. I actually I went to the game yesterday, and I'm still a little foggy. I got to tell you. I mean, I didn't get home till like 1:00. It was a great experience, but let me tell you something. Getting out of the parking lot. Oh, what a disaster that was. But whatever. Okay. But nevertheless, I texted him this morning. And I hit him with all the stuff we're talking, especially, and he gave me the same thing about the field goal.
Yeah.
I mentioned that. And I mentioned the play by McGovern. He says McGovern was not downfield illegally. That's what the coach told me.
Well, maybe the NFL will send a letter
Oh,
apologizing
you know
again.
they will. No, they're going to apologize for the Michael Carter play. You know that. They're going to apologize for illegal contact by Sauce Gardner.
Did they, being in the building last night, first of all, how many Chief fans were there? Were there a lot?
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many.
Too many.
Let me tell you, the only Chief fans that I thought were legitimate that were there were the people with the Derek Thomas jerseys. I did see a few Derek Thomas.
So what? The rest of them were Swifties?
Well, yeah, the rest of them became Chief fans, when Patrick Mahomes became the quarterback. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, I got you. So they're bandwagoners. They jumped on when they started.
Did they ever – I'm curious about two things because we got a full load of it on TV. They showed Aaron Rodgers a lot. They showed Taylor Swift a lot. Did they ever show Taylor Swift on the big board at the game?
It's funny, and by the way, let me say this too. Sean Winters of Winters Bros, who set me up last night with the tickets. I mean, it was ridiculous where we were. So I want to thank him again. And Taylor Swift was right kind of behind where we were sitting, not too far. I had my 10-year-old grandson, his first ever game.
Yeah. I saw that on social media. That's cool.
He actually got a pretty good picture of her.
Nice.
No, he did. I think Drake was there too, so he got a picture of him. So he was all excited about that. But you know what, bro? I didn't see her at all on the big screen, to be honest. And certainly I wasn't looking for her.
Good, because we're done with her. We're done.
Well,
we're done.
What about Rodgers? Because did they ever give the fans a chance to cheer him or anything?
They showed Rodgers after the touchdown, after Zach scored the 2-point conversion and tied the game. They showed Rodgers with Woody up in his suite. Now, what I want to see is at some point, I guess he said he's going to be with the team permanently after the bye.
Yes.
What I want to see with Rodgers is with a headset on, put him upstairs with the coaches that are upstairs, and get this kid in Zach's ear, get Rodgers in Zach's ear during the game. That's what he needs to do.
Is that going to happen, Tiki?
I don't know. I think that might be
too many voices, or why not? Because I'll say this.
Hold on. So Nate is on the field. So Nate's down there with him.
Right.
So actually, Joe, that might be the better way to do it, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to
because then they're together.
Well, no. So Nate is on the field. So it might be better to have not have Aaron on the field also. Have Aaron go upstairs. If you need to see something, hey kid, I saw this and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but will he be able to communicate with him? Because that's Joe's point.
Yes,
okay.
you can, but you can only do it from the booth. Right. From the coordinator booth.
Right.
You can't do it from anywhere else in the stadium.
Plus, you don't want him on the field. God forbid somebody gets blocked in.
That's a good point.
Gets his leg run
It's
over.
a great point.
We don't need that happening.
That would be so jet luck if that happens.
Oh man, it really.
Dude, he's not playing this year, so stop worrying
Well,
about
Aaron
it.
claims he's trying.
I did see that.
Aaron Rodgers is saying he's trying to come back.
You know why he's doing that? Because he doesn't want Zach Wilson to take his job for next year.
One thing I will say about that, it's funny. After I got off, I guess it was with you guys. Was it last week or 2 weeks? Whatever it was. Joe Klecko calls me. Okay. And I saw Klecko yesterday, too. Great, he got his ring for the whole thing. He calls me up and he said, I just want to tell you that in 1982, I came back from the same injury and actually played at the end of the year.
Get out.
He said that. I swear to God. He called, I'm telling you. He called me. Now, 82 was the strike year. He got hurt in the second week of the season in New England, okay, the second week. And then they went on strike, and, this was September, and then they didn't want to strike till, Thanksgiving.
Right.
He came. Now they made the playoffs that year.
It's like a 9-game season, wasn't it?
9-game season, and he came back. They actually, went to the AFC title game that year. That's the Mud Bowl disaster against Miami. But he played in the playoffs.
Wow.
So he says that he feels that Rodgers could get back this year. Now I don't think they're making the playoffs, but yeah, he did say that.
Joe,
so,
was he any good?
Who's that?
And Klecko in that game, in the playoffs.
You know what, bro? Look, they were pretty good. They played 3 playoff games. They actually beat the Bengals in the first game. They were the defending AFC champions. Then they went to that tremendous game. They beat the Raiders out in L.A. when they were in L.A. with 90,000 people and all that insanity, and they lost that game to Miami. So, he was there. He's on the field. How effective he was, I don't completely remember.
I think
he did say that.
The problem is for Aaron to come back, they'd have to make the playoffs. And if they make the playoffs and Zach's playing well, the whole thing just feels like a mess.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope this. Bro, we could only wish
right
that this is the problem. You and I and Tiki having this discussion. sometime in January.
Right.
Well,
those are good
who's
problems.
Playing now?
Right.
Those are playoff team problems. You don't mind that conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. What's a playoff team problem? What the hell is that?
But they got to start. They have to win this game. If they go into the bye 1-5, I mean, let's be honest, the season's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question. This game on Sunday is a game
Must
they
win.
have to win.
And you got the Sean Payton element too.
Yep.
There should be some bulletin board
Well,
fodder
and
here for
also,
this game.
the Denver defense is atrocious. So if Zach's really going to build off of the 4 drives he had against Kansas City, the Jets better score 30 on the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
They have to.
Yeah, no, definitely. And enough of Dalvin Cook. I also thought it was good. We saw the kid Gibson a little bit on the offense.
Yeah.
I like that.
Ruckert and Gibson more involved in the offense, which was nice.
Ruckert, I was surprised to see, but
he made a great catch
but,
down the
but
sideline.
happy to see him.
Yeah.
Because he's more dynamic of a pass catcher than I think we expected.
Yeah, we always
made
heard he's a
some
blocker.
catch.
Yeah, everybody think he's just an edge guy, the block on the edge, but he's athletic.
All the tight ends played well. I thought all 3
Yep.
tight ends had pretty good games yesterday.
You're right.
They really did.
We're talking to the great Joe Benigno. All right, Buck's gone. What was your thoughts upon hearing that, and who do you want to have replace him?
Well, first of all, I don't love David Stearns. I mean, let me.
What did he do?
What did
he
love
do?
David Stearns.
This is the typical guy that's ruining baseball. This guy, he went to the Ivy League.
Wow, I'm shocked
He's
by this.
He's smarter than everybody. Oh, he look at the guy. The guy's as nerdy as could be. Okay? I mean, and this is the guy running my franchise. Okay, I'm not thrilled about it.
But Joe, let me just say 2 things about David Stearns. Number one, he's one of us. He grew up as a Met fan. That's got to mean something.
Good for him.
Number 2, he has a resume that has success. Like the Brewers don't. I get it, but they got to the 7th game of the NLCS with like a bottom 3rd payroll, and he's done it. And I don't think he's coming here to run the Mets like a small market team. So at least he's put. I know it's not the ultimate pelt on the wall. I get that. They haven't won a World Series, haven't been to one, but they've had some success. So he's got a resume at least.
I guess it's just because I'm an old school guy. I'm so tired of these guys trying to tell me that a guy who hits 46 homers and it drives in 118 runs isn't any good.
He hasn't said that yet, though.
Well, you know what I mean, Teak? I mean, this kind of stuff makes me nuts.
But you know what, Joe?
You better pay him. You better pay him.
I agree with you, and I like David Stearns. I will turn on him so quick if his first decision is to trade Pete Alonso.
Right,
I'm completely with you on that. And
What, you wanted the long-term guarantee? Is that what it is? As soon as he's asked about Pete Alonso, yes, he's going to be a Met for life. That's what you wanted?
that'd be nice.
I mean,
of course, Teak.
What if there's value for him elsewhere?
But let me
you know what I
tell
mean?
Value
Let me just tell you,
elsewhere.
Teak,
Value for the Mets with him being elsewhere.
No.
Tiki, I got to tell you one thing though.
Go
this
ahead.
franchise outside of David Wright, every big time player that we have had, especially homegrown, they've let him go. They traded Tom Seaver for basically 4 stiffs back in 1977. We could go back to Nolan Ryan. We could talk about, when they let Darryl Strawberry walk out the door. Frank Cashin's there. Well, in 1990, he's not a $5 million a year ball player. What? Lets him walk out the door. Daniel Murphy. I couldn't believe this. I don't know if you saw this, bro. I'm watching the game the other day. Daniel Murphy is there, right? And they're making it, he's retiring as a Met, whatever. And, of course, Gary Cohen, who basically told him to get out the door.
Yes.
He said he calls him net zero, is over there basically. Net negative. He's basically kissing Murphy's rear end.
You're right.
Hey, Murph this, Murph that. Hey, Gary, give me a freaking break, will you? Oh, my God. And so this is what the Mets do. They traded David Cohn. We can go on and on. This is why I get crazy, Teak.
Yeah.
Because
I
this
can
is the
tell.
MO of this franchise.
And that's why David Stearns has to understand something. And he was asked about this. Hey, how much does this matter? A homegrown guy. How much does it matter?
Right.
And he tried to give all the right answers. He's like, well, all of it matters. All of it's a factor. David Stearns claims he's a diehard Met fan. Mm-hmm. He grew up in where I grew up. Like the mid-'90s sucked. The late 90s were our team because that's our first sense of winning.
38?
He's 38. He's 2 years younger than me. We're basically the same age.
Think you ever heard of Tom Seaver? I don't even know.
Yeah, of course.
If he's a real Met fan, and I have no reason to believe he isn't, he has. He grew up with the same stories I heard. And if he believes all this, if he's a real Met fan, he understands the value of Pete Alonso that's more so than 46 home runs and 118 RBIs, that it's having your guy here forever. And so it's important for him to understand that.
I hope so.
There's no I want to make this clear, Tiki. There is no package out there of lottery tickets that's worth that. There
None.
isn't.
There's none.
What about
this guy's going to hit 500 homers, Teak. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame. I want this guy. He is going to. He might already be the greatest everyday player the Mets have ever had.
Okay.
Yes.
You make that case.
Okay, so if he's a Hall of Famer and you can go, no matter where he plays. So say someplace else and he's a Hall of Famer, but whatever you get for him leads you to a championship. Is that worth it?
But it won't happen. It doesn't happen.
So
that
wait,
way
you're
with this
saying
franchise.
in order for the Mets to win a championship, whenever that is, a year from now, 5 years from now, Pete Alonso has to be a part of the equation?
Well, I think he does. I mean, where you get these guys? He's one of the premier home run hitters in baseball.
That's the point.
Outside of Aaron Judge, okay, Aaron Judge is a better all-around player. I mean, look, Aaron Judge, you want to give me Ohtani? Outside of, I mean, I know Matt Olson had a big year this year, but I can only imagine.
And by the
how
way,
many home
that's who
runs-
I'm alluding to. Like, if you can get Ohtani.
I understand that, but how many home runs do you think that Alonso would be hitting in that lineup?
Exactly.
With the Braves?
First of all, you don't have to give up Alonso to get Shohei Ohtani.
I know
and
that,
number
because
two,
he's not under contract anymore. He's a free agent.
And
but
the
you're
deal,
not paying both of them.
Right, and the other thing is the deal you're putting
Why
together.
not?
Well, first of all, why
got all
not?
this money.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you know what? This isn't the Wilpons team. Could you imagine, seriously, and I want to go back to what the Mets did this year because they punted the season on us. They stuck it right up our rear end. I don't care what anybody tries to tell me. You know, if Fred Wilpon and Jeff Wilpon did this year what Steve Cohen did, he would be getting crucified.
No, because they wouldn't have bought off the money to get real prospects. That's the difference.
They would, but still, let's say they did, they'd be getting hammered, bro.
Well, I think it would have been a different scenario, but here's the point. Any deal you come up with, Tiki, of, well, what if it means the Mets win a World Series? That's a what if. That's a what.
They've won two, Tiki. It's only been 30
So you're going to try to give us a what if on prospects they get back for a proven commodity? That's an impossible sell to me. It's an impossible sell to Joe, and I think it's an impossible sell to 90% of Met fans. It's imperative that this guy, David Stearns, and I like him so far, he gets it done with
so
Pete.
what's he doing? Just keeping leverage? Like, why would he do that?
It's a negotiation.
But you know what?
It's a negotiation.
Look, I don't want to go through what the Yankee fans went through last year with Judge because that went right down to the wire. I mean, if I was a Yankee fan, I'm flipping out. He's going to sign with the Giants.
Of course.
I mean,
No,
I
we
don't
were.
want to
We
deal with that.
definitely were. And it drove us against Cashman even more than we already were.
Right. I don't want to deal with that nonsense. You know, I'm not saying he's not Aaron Judge, but like I said, he's one of the premier home run hitters in baseball.
I want it done now. I'm with Joe. Who should manage this team next year?
Who should me? You know, I like Carlos Beltran, but it won't be him. I mean, I don't. You know what, bro? I don't really care. I honestly, because you know why I don't care?
I know why.
Because he's not really running the team anyway. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Stearns is going to be calling all the shots. So if it's Craig Counsell, fine. I heard Alex Cora. Is that possible?
Well, we had a caller mention that, but Alex Cora is under contract next year. So unless the Red Sox have had a change of heart and they want to blame him for their failures over the last 2 years, and I'd be good with that. I like Alex Cora, but I don't know how realistic that is. How about Joe Girardi? You want Joe Girardi?
I wouldn't be adverse to it.
Right.
You think that's a possibility, Joe Girardi?
I mean, he's available.
Just a name that's out there. Wow, Joe, you really don't care.
No, because I don't know how much value the manager is anymore, Tiki.
No, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. It's
not
true.
like a head coach in football. That's a different story. Head coach in football means everything.
But do you agree with what Stearns said? I need someone to manage people, right? Not necessarily the lineups and the bullpen and all that other nonsense, but I need someone to manage people.
Well, you know what, Tiki? Manage people, and let's be honest about this, too. It's not all, analytics in baseball. There is a human element to this game, and I think sometimes with all this nonsense, all these stupid statistics now and all these analytics and this and that, I think that some of these guys get away from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, you want to tell me that this guy isn't any good when he's putting up numbers. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? This is the kind of stuff that gets me scared about guys like Stearns.
Well, his first act better not be trading Pete Alonso.
No.
Because we will turn on him. At least I will, and I know you've already turned.
Please, it'll be.
I don't think it's a trade situation. I think it's just a not re-signing.
Well, that's waiting another year. That's 2 years down the road now.
He's
or a
already
year
said
down the road.
he's going to be the everyday first baseman for next year.
Yeah, we'll
so.
see. We'll see. Words mean only so much.
Who knew you'd be more heated about the Mets than the Jets, Joe?
The Mets really, seriously, look, I'm very upset with the Jets. I got to win games, but the Mets really got me. I was very upset what they did this year, Teak. They should have at least. I didn't mind trading Scherzer. That was fine. You want to get rid of these guys like Pham and David Robertson. They shouldn't have traded Verlander. And the way it went down this year in the National League, they would have at least been, with all the craziness in the wild card, they would have at least maybe been in the race with the wild card.
Yeah. Joe,
they should have brought Mauricio up 3 months ago, too.
That
No
is
doubt.
true. Joe, great talking to you, man. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys.
See you,
All the
Joe.
love. See you.
The great Joe Benigno in his weekly spot after a Jet loss, and obviously the Met News Buck out.